Hi, my name is Chris Busher. I've been a published author now since October of 2014. I've published 4 different books myself, and I've helped co-author another book with another friend of mine from the United States. And I wanted to take a moment today while I'm driving to the store, just actually to talk about why I think every person should take the opportunity and try to become a published author. Now, if you've never been a published author, never researched anything about it, there's really 2 ways that you could go with it. You could go, number 1, the traditional way, to get traditionally published, or you could go self-publishing, which used to be called vanity publishing, but it's become more widely acceptable, and actually many people seem to prefer it, including big-name authors. First of all, let me say I have published under both ways. Actually, the very first time I got published was traditional publishing. And so, since I was traditionally published first, let me go ahead and talk about that. My publisher, the very first publisher I ever had, was called Up Books. Up Books is located in São Paulo, Brazil. Many of you know that I'm an American, but I've been living in Brazil for the last several years, so it made sense for me to go with a Brazilian publisher. But to be honest, I never wanted to really write a book. I always felt intimidated. I knew that my writing wasn't the best. I knew I had a message to deliver, and I preached and I ministered, and I'd make little videos and stuff, but I never saw myself as a writer ever. And I was very intimidated by the whole idea of writing a book. But my publisher sat me down, and he said, hey, I know that you have a great message. I would really like you to write your story so we can publish that book for you. I thought it was going to take me a year. I sat down, I closed the door, I turned off my phone. I told my wife, hey, you can't talk to me. Don't even try to send me messages. I need to lock myself in the room until it gets done. It took me 15 days. 15 days to write a small book that was only 20,000 words. For those of you who have published books before, you know that 20,000 words is very small. Some people might not even consider that a real book, but it was my first book, 20,000 words. For those of you who have never wrote a book, 20,000 words might seem like a lot, but it's really not. We're talking about a normal-sized book, maybe 100, 120 pages. It's printed out, so it's really not a whole lot, but it was able to get my message out there. I wrote about my life. I wrote about my Christian testimony of coming from drugs and alcohol, and becoming a believer in Jesus Christ, and how something like that happened to me in my life. And I handed him the manuscript. I sent him the file. A couple months later, he came back with the book cover, with the documents all printed out and everything. He said, hey, here's your book. Now let's go sell it. So we started out by handing it to a bunch of different key churches. We looked for my target audience for this book. And, it was a lot easier than I thought. Some people always talk about how they have such difficulty selling their books, and I didn't really have that issue because I was already a pastor and a traveling evangelist, so I would go from church to church almost every single day anyway. I was able to sell my first 1,000 books like that, and then we got it reprinted and republished and made a few edits. Everything went well. So that was my experience with traditional publishing. My publisher was absolutely great. I still use him today for all of my Brazilian books. He translates it. He does a wonderful job. Great company to work for, and I can't wait to send him more of my manuscripts. So that was with that. My experience with self-publishing was very different. I had no idea what self-publishing was. I spent probably 2 or 3 weeks straight watching YouTube videos, learning what exactly is self-publishing. And You know, if you've watched any YouTube videos, you're going to see a bunch of these YouTube videos talking about how you can make millions of dollars or passive income. They always like to use these key phrases, you know, your niche books and all this other nonsense. And, you know, they talk about how it's so easy to make a lot of money selling books online and blah, 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 blah. And you know what? It was probably true at one point in time, you know, when the Kindle Cash phrase was all over. But this is 2016, okay? People very quickly caught on to that. And, you know, there is some truth in it, and I would like to talk about some of those things. So here we go. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I learned as much information as I can. I hired all of the wrong people to do the editing, to do the book designs. I spent entirely too much money trying to get my books on Amazon and to do them well. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. A lot of mistakes that I wish I could go back and redo, but you know, that is life. But the good part about it is once I got the hang of it, by the time I uploaded my third book, I already knew who to be sending my manuscripts to for correct editing, because the first couple manuscripts, the people just flat out lied to me. They took my money and didn't even really edit anything. And I was in too much of a hurry to get books on the internet that I didn't look through all of their work. That is mistake number one. Don't trust people on the internet. You hire someone to do a job, make sure that you watch every little thing that they did. Send it to 2 or 3 people. This is your name, this is your reputation going out there. If you look at my books on Amazon, the first couple of them, I got a couple reviews that, you know, were not so nice about the editing. The lowest star that I got was 3 stars, you know, because they really loved the story and they said it in there, hey, this is a great story, but your editor's pathetic. So they gave me at least 3 stars. So I was able to go ahead and make sure that I could get that taken care of, and I found a really good editor. She does a wonderful job for me, and she's a Christian too, so it works wonderful. So my books have now been fixed that way. Book designs were easier than I thought. I still do not make my own designs for my books. I would not recommend you to do it unless that's your expertise. You can have an idea, but you can get your book completely designed for less than $100 from a great graphic designer who will do all the professional sizing and cropping of images and making it look as professional as possible. It's so easy. I wouldn't do it yourself though, because you want to spend a lot of other time doing other things. Okay? Once you get it on there, you will find a lot of people making promises to do a lot of things for you, like making the correct tags, making the correct description, and blah 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 blah. I have advice for you. Take it with a grain of salt, okay? Yes, tags and keywords are significant. They matter what category you put it in, but do not spend a fortune trying to get that done. Use some common sense. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it, and if somebody's going to try to charge you a lot of money to do a lot of different things to it, think twice before you do it. HTML tags on your Amazon description. HTML tags on your Amazon description is a good thing. You can get it done for $5 on Fiverr. It makes your description look professional. It makes it stand out from everyone else. Now, it doesn't really help your SEO on Amazon. However, it makes you look more professional. And this is your image out there. You want your image to be as professional as humanly possible. Reviews. There are so many companies out there trying to sell fake reviews. They always get through lawsuits. Sometimes you can get away with it. But the bottom line is, you start buying reviews from different people. Amazon's not stupid. Amazon is a multi-billion-dollar company. Within a couple months at the max, most of those fake reviews that you bought, that you spent a lot of money on, are going to get deleted. Not only is it not going to really be beneficial for you, but it's really unethical. It is against Amazon's policy to begin with. Now, what my suggestion for you, because you do need reviews, is to obviously build a list. I have an author list where I send out my ebook to all of my people on the list absolutely free every time that I get a new book. And I ask them, hey, if you enjoyed this book, go to Amazon, leave a review. It costs you nothing, and it means the world to me. Now, 95% of them don't do it, and that's okay, However, that 5% that do, they leave great reviews. They say their honest opinion about my book, and it really benefits because it is a real, genuine review that somebody is reading on there, and people can see if something's a fake review, a paid review, or a real, genuine review. So never buy fake reviews. Why should you become a published author? Number one, you're not going to make $1 million, okay? You're no J.K. Rowling. You need to have some realistic expectations about yourself. When I first decided to become an author, I had some wild imaginations that, I was going to make a lot of money, that, it was going to pay my bills, and it was going to do this, and that. Here's the honest truth about that. I haven't made a fortune, okay? The majority of the money that I made selling books, both traditional publishing and self-publishing, have been reinvested back into the books to try to make it the best humanly possible that I can make it. We've also spent money on advertising. And a couple of the books, every book that we sell, we give a free copy to a prison in Brazil, the United States, or in Canada. So some of the books you don't make a lot of money on, it's just an investment. However, when it's all said and done, after the book has become perfect, the best possible, and it's sitting on there, yes, it is a passive income. It's a residual income that happens month after month after month. And it's not a whole lot of money, but you know what? Every single month, my royalties from my book sales on Amazon alone is enough to put a full tank of gas in my car, take my wife and my son out for a nice meal, and that's about it. But it's a good thing because I get that every single month for the rest of my life. And I did all the work one time, and now I get to constantly just reap the benefit of that. Now, I could be taking that money and reinvesting it back into the book, trying to make it even better, but I would rather spend my time making more books. Now, one big reason why you should want to be an author is it makes you an authority figure. I can't tell you how much becoming a published author has benefited my life and my Christian ministry. Becoming a published author has opened up more doors for me than I could even possibly begin to describe to you. Before, I would have DVDs and different YouTube videos, and it would open up some doors, and it was good for me. However, a book goes farther than any DVD or CD ever could. A book lasts several years. It gets passed around like a football from person to person to person, and after printing one book for the next several years, 20 or 30 years, you're still reaping the benefits from that book because your message is going out there over and over and over again. It is an insanely awesome thing, and I'm just now beginning to see the benefits of this, because I've only been a published author for the last 2.5 years. I've wrote 4 books, and already it's opening up doors. I speak at many different events. I speak at many different churches, rehab facilities. Whatever the niche is of that particular book, it always seems to find the right person who contacts me and says, hey, would you mind coming and speaking at our church? Would you mind coming and speaking at our event? And I absolutely love it. Number one, because I don't charge a whole lot of money. I basically charge my expenses, which is gas and food, and that's about it. I don't do this for the money. I do it to have the message reach the masses, and that is what it's all about. In fact, this weekend I'll be speaking at a rehab facility in Miami, Florida. If you are the type of person like me that has a message that the world needs to hear, I encourage you, dedicate some time each and every day until you get your book finished. It's a lot easier than you think. You can write a book within 30 days or 6 months or a year, whatever it takes you, and that book is your message to the world for the next 100 years. I want to thank you for watching this video. If this is your first time on my channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Like this video, share it with your family and friends. If you have any questions on how to become a published author, both in self-publishing or traditional publishing, send me a message. I don't charge money. I like to help you. As long as I like your message, I'm gonna help you. I'll promote you to my family and friends. I'll promote you on our social media. I might even interview you on YouTube. Help you out a little bit if it's a Christian message. If it's not a Christian message, don't worry. I can still help you out publishing the book if you need help with doing that. I want to thank you. Have a good day. God bless you. I'll see you later.